Hi ho guys and welcome to Nintenduary, a month where we review a different Nintendo 64 game every day for the entire month. About a week ago we took a look at Mario 64, a game everyone should have played during their lifetime at least once. But today we're not here to preach about Mario 64, today we are looking at Rare's introduction to 3D platformers, we're looking at Banjo-Kazooie. So let's jump right into it. The story to this game is pretty simple. Banjo the bear and his wisecracking sidekick Kazooie must embark on a quest to save Banjo's sister Tootie, who had been kidnapped by an evil witch named Gruntilda. But to save Banjo's sister, the duo must embark into several worlds to collect Jiggies to make their way far enough up into Gruntilda's lair to save the day. This game spawned out of a cancelled SNES game Rare had been working on, and the idea of taking an art style similar to what they had in their successful Donkey Kong Country series and translate them into a gameplay style similar to what Mario 64 had to offer, and holy hell did all these factors together make a well-rounded game. And in my opinion, if it wasn't for Conker, this would have been Rare's greatest title ever. But don't worry, we're gonna get to Conker in just a few days, so don't forget to subscribe and turn into Nintenduary every day. I'll stop. For a game that only came out 2 years after Mario 64, you can really appreciate how fluid it plays and the amount of content that it offers. One of the major things we pointed out in the Super Mario 64 review is how carefully crafted Mario's movement was. And Rare was able to replicate that same thing here when crafting Banjo and Kazooie's movements, but they still managed to give it their own spin and make the movements unique and fun. Banjo has a variety of actions he can do alone, but with a few button combinations, Kazooie really opens up the speed and flexibility the duo has to offer. And I really appreciated the fact that the movements could be unlocked, which always kept the gameplay feeling fresh. Cause you know some platformers have the problem that they'll get stale after a while, but this game managed to keep you going. I mean, isn't it a great feeling to be finally able to hop through the air and being able to finally climb up a hill you couldn't before? Rare just understood how to reward their players with gameplay. Sure, the only thing really bad about the controls were the swimming controls. They always were a bit clunky and oddly enough harder than Super Mario 64's. But outside maybe a few parts, it's never really game breaking, so we can look past it. The level design is pretty tight here too. Similar to Mario 64's open world, Banjo-Kazooie follows the same concept. Except the level designs are a bit more open world, and collectibles can be obtained in any order without having to set them on a quest ahead of time. While the worlds are a little bit bigger, they aren't too big where it feels like a chore to go from one end to the other. Just about the right size where players are rewarded for exploring, but at the same time never overwhelmed with what they are supposed to do. The worlds feel really alive and the art design really helps portray almost a Disney World level of fun design. Just remembering levels like Treasure Trove Cove just gives me an instant childhood nostalgia feeling. The soundtrack is pretty fantastic too and really does a great job at reflecting the levels and overall sense of adventure here. Like every world has its own theme song that fits with the setting. Collecting Jiggies is really addicting and it always feels rewarding being able to unlock a new world because you completed enough special tasks. It's just one of these many things again that will keep players going. Between this game, Diddy Kong Racing and GoldenEye and all the other games we still have to get to, we can really appreciate how crucial Rare was to the success of the Nintendo 64. Sure, Nintendo was able to make some great games on their own, and other devs made some great games, but man, in this time of the N64's life, Rare was a perfect 3 for 3. And don't forget, bad guys beware, bears can fly now.
No bears can fly, bad guys beware. Here comes Banjo-Kazooie, where you're both bird and bear with amazing powers. There's never been anything like this head-banging, sky-flying, rock-hopping, egg-shooting, tag-teaming duo. Banjo-Kazooie, only for Nintendo.
At its core, this game is a solid 3D platforming experience, and it's a perfect example as to what this genre was all about that totally swept the 90s. It was re-released on the Xbox 360 and included in Rare Replay for the Xbox One, and is still pretty fun. The resolution looks good on the re-releases, and Rare Replay on the Xbox One is probably the easiest access to the game right now. Nonetheless, I cannot deny that playing this game on the classic N64 controller just feels better, and with its tight controls this game still holds up to this day. This game is also a must-own for any Nintendo 64 fan and for any collector out there. So that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below about your experience with Banjo-Kazooie. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for the next episode of Nintenduary. We're gonna look at Yoshi's story. And also don't forget to subscribe to Rocket Sloth. And maybe turn on notifications so you don't miss a single upload. We appreciate ya, and until next time, bye guys.